Now on my Operation Barbarossa videos, quite regularly people suggest or ask why the Germans just didn't use, for instance, the Ukrainians or the other Soviet republics and let them join their fight, their crusade against communism. Now, of course, for this answer we need to let aside completely the ideology of the Nazis, because else the video would be 5 seconds long. Now, let's just assume they would be open to that the Ukrainians, for instance, join their cause. Now, how could they proceed? One point is they could arm them, but here's a major problem. You need to supply them with arms, you need to supply them with training, and you need to organize them and to a certain degree also supervise them and build them in your command structure, which is quite more difficult than it sounds. But the major issues are pretty apparent. There were simply not enough heavy weapons available. We know this from the Finns, from the Hungarians, from the Romanians and the Italians. The Germans didn't supply enough heavy weapons. And additionally, even if these units would be trained quite well, they probably would have a lower combat effectiveness than Wehrmacht units. And here's the thing, on the Eastern Front, the logistics were completely overstretched. But you still need to supply ammo and food and other equipment to even less combat effective units. So the net gain would be probably negative in terms of combat capabilities. And especially if you look at Operation Barbarossa in 1941, Hitler tried to keep the number of foreign units as low as possible. This is quite in stark contrast to 1942, where the Wehrmacht already had taken so many losses that they needed more foreign divisions to help them out. But these foreign divisions were lacking in the heavy weapons. And this is one of the reasons why the Soviets, the Red Army, could break through around Stalingrad, for instance, with the Romanian divisions, because they simply didn't have the equipment which was promised by the Germans. Now, of course, you could also say, well, you could just leave them be and help them secure the area, the occupied area, or employ them in the industry. Now, for the industry, again, you need to train them. You need to train them on the machines. You probably need to teach them German and everything else, because there are different standards and other stuff going on. It's not that easy. It's not like, okay, we have here 5 million people and we just use them. And probably the biggest issue is food. There was not enough food around. The original plan was to feed the Wehrmacht completely from the occupied territories on the Eastern Front. But it wasn't sufficient. And in winter 1941-1942, the Germans already started rationing in their home countries and also noticed that the miners in the Ruhrgebiet were losing weight. So they needed more food and everything. And the East was plundered of food and everything, and also the Balkans and the Netherlands and other regions. So, for instance, Greece lost about 14% of the population due to starvation. And I think it was way worse in the occupied territories in the East. So, whatever approach you take, if you wanna arm them, in my opinion, completely impossible. And if you just let them be and don't plunder everything, it will also create a certain lack of resources. There were certainly not enough resources available to do this. And if you don't believe me, well, check the description. The sources are linked there. And if you want to learn more about the complexities of a world war, check out my World War management video. It's about World War I and World War II and also discusses food to a certain degree and coal and everything else. And if you want to know about the combat effectiveness of 1941 and 1942 German divisions on the Eastern Front, check out this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.